Special tonight with my good friend Mario Bravo. Welcome, Mario.
Hello, Bill. Good evening to everybody.
This wasn't something that we'd kind of planned to do, but a number of people have been asking me, can you do a live stream talking about the Mijas Racetrack, the Podromo?
Mhm.
And honestly, Mario, I don't know anybody who knows more about the history of the Mijas Racetrack than you do. You're like an encyclopedia on it.
Yes, well, we have been working many hours, many days, and even several years trying to put that in value, as people say now.
Yeah.
And there is a long history behind all that, but I think we can summarize that in few minutes so people are aware of why the biggest asset of Mijas, which could be worth 30 or 40 million euros, is completely abandoned, opened, and anyone who may need something just go there and pick it up and take it away. It is a takeaway thing, public offered by the town hall of Mijas.
I don't think it was ever designed as a takeaway, was it? A sort of free takeaway.
But that's how it is, a takeaway service.
Yeah. Listen, Mario, just to explain to everyone, and people are joining us now, we're not going to go into the whole horse racing end of the Mijas racetrack because that's a very kind of specialized area, and there are people who certainly know far more about the horse racing industry than I do. What we're
Mhm.
going to focus on is how it came to be and how it came to be as it is now. And we're looking at the political decisions and maybe the political errors that were made over many years. So, Mario, I'm going to let you sort of talk us through this whole thing, really from the beginning.
Mhm. Let me tell you how this started. There was a fellow that came to Mijas area with some money and experience in horses. That was Mateo Perez Robles. He bought a piece of land, later known as Mijas Gold, and he had the idea to make a racetrack, an hippodrome. At
Right,
that time, many of you, possibly those of you who like football, will remember that Real Madrid was as powerful as now, and its president was close to God. The
yeah,
president of Real Madrid at that time was Ramon Mendoza, and he happened to be the owner, or at least the manager, of the biggest hippodromo in Spain, the one in La Zarzuela.
okay,
So he was jealous of this second one opening in this area, so close to the Arab countries where they have a lot of racing expensive horses, and
right,
he created all kind of obstacles to this fellow, who at the end decided to build two golf courses that have been very successful from the year. So the idea of having this hippodrome in Mijas was still there in the air. When Antonio Maldonado arrived, he was the mayor of Mijas between 1979 and 1997. He recovered that idea,
right,
and he happened to discover that Mijas town hall was the owner of a big extension of land where the Podromo is now, surrounded by other plots which are now half built.
right.
So he decided to create the Podromo, but he had no money. The world is full of people with a lot of ideas, but with empty pockets. But he had a lot of ideas. So he said, well, if we make all this land buildable, we will be able to get some money when we sell those plots of land. And with that money, we could build a hippodrome. So he did. The town hall sold all those pieces of land. Some of them are now built. You know,
Right,
all the communities there, and he was using that money to build the hippodrome. When he realized he needed more money and he had already sold all the plots, he reclassified some of them that were allowed to have apartments instead of townhouses. So
right,
more houses, it means more money. And the hippodrome was built. It was opened the 28th of February 1999, Andalusian Day, and the first prize was 100,000 euros that was paid by the regional government of Junta Andalucía, because that was a big success of Andalucía in the fight against Madrid with that hippodrome of La Zarzuela.
okay.
And things were more or less fine. It could have been managed better, or was, it doesn't matter. The Podromo was running. Until we arrived in 2011. We realized that things could be done much better. We decided to clean, to empty, to organize the Podromo, to create a lot of activities. And in the summer of 2012 and 2013, there were nights with more than 7,000 people there.
Yeah.
All the businesses were opened, some of them during the week, but most all of them in the weekends, and it was a great success. Then in 2013, the company or the administrative body that regulates the races in Spain, because you cannot organize a race whenever you want to. It has to be coordinated with other race courses, because you need to take the horses and the jockeys from one place to another.
Sure.
So that year, Mijas was allocated with races only in the winter. And we said, sorry, that is not the idea. We need the summer, because this is when people are here, and this is a sport in the open air, in the outside. The race courses at night in the summer are a great success, but they refused to allocate us races in the summer. They said, winter or nothing, take it or leave it, and we left it. And at that time, it was very common, very interesting, the jumping contests. So we said, well, instead of having horses running, we will have horses jumping. That was during 2 weeks, 4 times a year. And we said, well, if we cannot have races, we will have jumping competition. Right. And the jumping competition invested 2 million euros in an area where even the dampness is controlled. So there are big deposits of water below the grass. And whenever it is dry, there are pumps that send the water up to keep the surface where the horses run at exact humidity and temperature as they jump better.
Right.
All that was running, and in 2015 it was more or less fine, enough to keep the race course running. Then we also opened that in the Sundays for the second-hand market. More than 100 stalls were there every Sunday. A big success, because it will also attract a lot of people from the area. Some of them didn't know the Podromo, and most of them will have a drink or even lunch in the restaurants that were open in the area.
Sure.
There is no other point in the Costa del Sol with 850 free parking spaces outside. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere. Not even Tivoli in Benalmádena. Nowhere you can find 850 apartments on the ground for free. But then my party, the Popular Party, lost the power. And at the same time, there was something interesting. The government of Spain said that all private companies owned by town halls had to be liquidated, and the assets and liabilities should go to the town hall.
Right. So just to explain, it wasn't the sort of the mayor of the time that managed the race course. It was a company wholly owned and set up by the council, which was Mijas Turística. Am I right in saying?
Mijas Recursos Turísticos. Well, in fact, Recursos Turísticos de Mijas. Mijas Town Hall did something. Half of the area, more or less, 350,000 square meters, all the land was registered in the name of Mijas Town Hall. But half of that area, Mijas Town Hall decided to create a company and put that land in the name of that company. This is something that many of you may have done with your own houses. You own a house, but instead of being registered in your own name, it is registered in your company name, for whichever reasons. That was done in the time of the socialists, with all the agreements of the civil servant, the secretary of the town hall, and also the agreement of the land registry of Mijas. So part of the Podromo was registered in the name of Mijas Town Hall, and another part in the name of Recursos Turísticos de Mijas, which was a company owned 97% by the town hall. There was a small part owned by Unicaja. because Mijas Town Hall asked for a loan. They didn't want to pay or they couldn't pay it, and they gave some shares to Unicaja instead of giving them money.
Right.
But you could say that Mijas was the owner of everything.
Right.
So in this liquidation process, it was discovered that this plot was registered wrongly by the socialists at that time before 1999, 96, 97, whenever the construction started. This was a mistake. I think it was an honest mistake. I don't want to criticize anyone at that time. The regulations were not so strict as they are now, but apparently you cannot register in the name of a company, even if it is owned by the town hall, an area that is classified as a sport.
Okay.
And the race course is classified as a sport. So with this in mind and the order of the government to liquidate the companies and put everything back in the name of the town hall, we started the process at the end of 2014. And in June 2015, we lost the power in the government. We won the elections, but the second and the third got together and we were out. The new government of Mijas refused to pay 6,000 euros to the liquidator. So the liquidator didn't have to close the Podromo. He simply needed to change some documents so everything will belong to the town hall.
Right.
When we say liquidate the company, it doesn't mean to close the activity. It was simply a matter of papers. However, the socialists that were the ones responsible of that mistake, because don't forget that they have been ruling the government in Mijas since 1979 until 2011 when we arrived, they tried to blame us, but it was not a matter of blaming us, it was a matter of completing that job and putting everything in the name of the town hall. On parallel of that, the race course could have been continued running.
Okay.
And continue open and continue with the second-hand market. However, the government of the town hall, which is what we criticize, did two things. Cancel the second-hand market and remove the control access of the race course. They only missed to put a big sign, say, take away.
Right.
But they left that open 24 hours a day. So anyone has gone there to the race course and has stolen, destroyed, burned, or kicked everything that was there. And don't forget, we had a hotel fully furnished with 50 rooms, perhaps 2,000 meters of offices with computers, everything. The betting area, where there was a very complete system of computers and cameras for people to bet. There was even a school garden, a lot of bars and restaurants. Everybody has lost everything because the government of Mijas, no matter our complaints every month in the Pleno, they decided to cancel the control of access to the racecourse.
Right.
And that has brought us now to 2022. So 6 years of abandon since they removed the control in April 2016 until today.
We've got a lot of comments coming in, Mario. I didn't want to interrupt you, but we'll just go through them sort of quickly. And if you have any comments on them, then please do give us your views. Denise has said, I've just seen the buildings the town hall is setting up for the music festival. I've so far not spoken to anyone interested in going. I know one or two people that want to go, but more that don't. But they could have adapted the Podromo, which has existing installations. I should say had, and they're throwing money away out of the window. I think, I mean, if anyone hasn't seen the Podromo in recent years, it is a bomb site, isn't it?
It is a disaster. If you have some feelings, you will cry when you go inside.
Yeah.
They have, however, in the latest couple of months, they have cleaned at least and removed all the broken glasses and everything. The government has been saying that they couldn't do anything there because it was under the control of the courts.
Right.
This is simply a lie, a full lie, because half of that area was in theory under the supervision of the courts. but the other half of the area where, for example, the disabled children go to race horses because
Yeah,
that helps them. That area is fully controlled by the town hall, and the access is only one. Why did they cancel the access to the race course? Why did they remove the? Before we were using a guard company, and later we were having there people from the basic income program, what we
right.
call renta básica. That is people who do not need special training. It is simply just to be on the door with the door closed and open it if there was something to be done inside. But
Yeah,
no, they left the door open and removed the barrier and a takeaway
yeah. Okay,
with the money of all of us.
we've got some comments here. Bring back the Mijas Gold Cup. Well, I think we're a long way away from that, Mario, aren't we?
Well, the jumping contest has moved to other cities in Spain. Could
Yeah,
we go back to the racing horses activity? We could, and there are companies and people interested in refurbishing that court,
yeah,
which could be 1 or 2 million euros because the surface needs to be very special for these horses that are worth also 1 million euros in many occasions. You need to invest some money there. That could be done, of course, but the Podromo gives a lot of opportunities. Nobody understands why it has been closed and abandoned. And now, all of a sudden, they clean it, and now the town hall can use it to have what they call a glamping site, people to have camping for this Sonora festival. So for 3 days of loud music, they now can take over the control of the Podromo and make it a camping area. Now, not during 6 years. Now, only for this concert.
right.
Nobody understands it.
And it's a similar question here. Would there ever be any possibility for discussions to be opened up, uh, restarting the horse racing? Uh, well, yeah, but we're just not there at the moment, Mario, are we? The whole condition and state of the Ippodromo wouldn't allow that to happen at the moment.
Well, let me tell you why this has taken so long. When a company goes into liquidation, if it is forced by the courts, and this one was forced by the courts because Mijan Town Hall didn't want to pay the 6,000 euros, and it was the first liquidator who
Mm,
went to courts to declare the Podromo bankrupt, then the person in charge can get 0.5% of the value of the assets. That means that the Podromo is worth 30 million euros. That person will get 600,000 euros, which is a good amount of money for, I was going to say, a couple of hours job. No, possibly it was a couple of days job, not a
yeah,
couple of hours. And the town hall didn't want to pay that because they said that the race course was not in the name of the company.
right.
So the liquidator wanted the land to be in
Right.
the name of the company, so she would get 500,000 or 600,000. The town hall didn't want that to happen, so they would pay only 50 or 60,000. At the end, the town hall has paid 500,000 euros for the fees of that person.
Yeah. Okay, and Denise has also said, and I don't think we need to comment on that. We know this. All the restaurants lost everything. People invested in the restaurants there.
Yes.
Big problem. And a question from Anne, which I think a lot of people will be interested in. Welcome, Anne. Can Mario explain about the go-karting next door to the Ippodromo? What happened there, Mario?
Yes, that was a piece of land completely abandoned. When we were in government, someone who has some experience in karting, because he had other in the area, he offered to make that a karting. We didn't want to sell the plot. Perhaps, I don't know if we didn't want to or we couldn't. And we said, well, we will rent it to you. And he offered to pay 1,000 euros for that plot. To those who say that why that was so cheap, let me tell them that that plot has been producing nothing for the latest 30 years.
Mm,
So if someone was coming to give you 1,000 euros for something that was empty and nobody wanted to do anything there, so we published that offer publicly. It was an open tender, And this person arrived. I think he was paying 1,000 euros. I don't know, perhaps plus VAT and some other things. And then he built that area. He couldn't get the opening license, the same as the race course. The race course and the hotel have never got the opening license. This may sound as a secret to all of you, but today, 2022, Mijas Race Course hasn't got an opening license. And you would wonder, why then in 1999, the president of the regional government of Junta Andalucía came here to open those races? How could Elton John come and play in our Podromo if there was not an opening license? Those were the days. No opening license. So later, the new government that arrived after June 2015 decided to close that karting.
Right.
Why? Because it didn't have an opening license. The same as the race course. The race course didn't have an opening license. None of the bus in the race course ever had an opening license. But they were not closed. The only thing closed was that racing track. We don't know whether it has something to do with something else called Ciudad del Motor, apparently another karting that was going to be built somewhere. Anyway, this was closed because it didn't have an opening license. You may discover that there are even supermarkets in Mijas without an opening license, but they still are open.
Mario, what was the problem in issuing the opening license? For example, well, let's forget the Podromo for a moment, but for the karting, it had been agreed that they could set it up, and they did that. What was the problem in them getting an opening license?
Well, there is a problem that is being sorted nowadays. When you transfer a piece of land from rural or non-buildable into buildable, there are a lot of things that you have to do. The developers, in many cases, they build, they sell, take the money, run away, and forget to do certain things. As far as I know, there are 2 small roads to be built inside, and also there were some water and electric pipes that still needed to be fitted there. These are the works that someone has been doing for the latest months, not at a very high speed, by the way. And all of you may enjoy the pleasure of having to go around that road because they have closed a parallel road to the Podromo because they are undertaking a pipe. So there were papers not still done. And instead of doing those papers, they decided to close the karting. As simply as that.
Anne has also asked, and I'm sure you can answer this. I understand that the PP, our party, allowed the karting to go ahead, but operated without insurance. If that's true, thank goodness there were no accidents because it was children mainly that used it.
Well, children and adults, but if they, I mean, we don't know whether all the bars and restaurants and all the attractions in Mijas have or do not have insurance. But I don't think that was any problem with that. All these kartings have an insurance and the vehicles are insured. The problem was not the insurance. And imagine the problem is the insurance. What will stop the owner to get an insurance the day after or the day he is requested to have it? The owner wanted to run it. In fact, this person is running now a karting in the roof of Miramar Commercial Center. In the roof there is a kart, and it is this same fellow. So assuming it was true that he didn't have insurance, which I don't think so, because he has had a lot of businesses. And the first thing you learn when you run a business is that things could go wrong, and then you buy the insurance. But imagine he couldn't, he would have got it the day after. It was not the insurance, it was the opening license that the town hall didn't want to give and decided to close it.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Mario, as you alluded to here, I mean, the town hall, even if a place has an opening license, there's no way of the town hall knowing whether it's a restaurant or some kind of other attraction or a nightclub or whatever. There's no way the town hall has of knowing whether or not these places cover their basic insurance or the civil liability insurance or whatever. This is not something they have to check in with the town hall, is it?
Correct, and you can guess that nobody is going to lose the investment. He did it because he moved all the earth and built the track,
Yeah.
and also a small building there to store all the cars. Nobody will waste all that land simply because he didn't have the insurance.
Right.
That's ridiculous to think about that.
Um, uh, uh, Another comment, and I don't want to say too much about this, but there are major companies who I believe would be interested in possible taking this over. The Arena Racing Company, as I put this out to tender in the UK. There's so many opportunities, but we also know, Mario, that there are a number of very large companies who are
Mhm.
interested in developing the Podromo in a number of different ways. Some, as a sort of football academy with other things added on, others with a whole sports village, international style sports village with a lot of add-ons. And, there are a lot of people who have been interested in developing this, but they all seem to have got nowhere with Mika's council, even in entering into any kind of discussions about it.
Correct. And I will reply with a question. If the town hall has been saying that they could do nothing, not even putting a guard at the door, how is it that now all of a sudden they can use all that area for a camping site? This is something that unfortunately the government has not and will never answer. They
Yeah,
have been saying during these 6 years, sorry, we cannot do anything because everything is under the control of the courts. And
right,
then all of a sudden, in the middle of August, when everybody knows that the courts are closed, they happen to be able to remove the rugby activity there and put this camping site.
right.
What a surprise.
Yeah,
Now there is no legal problem. Now they can use that area.
yeah. And Kevin has also said, and yeah, I think this is a very valid point. Okay, I've listened to all of this. How do we move forward with this and open it up legally? That would be
Well,
assuming that it was going to just be what it was before, I guess.
not even going back to before, to take back the control of the Podromo, they simply had to finish the court case between the town hall and the liquidator, because the liquidator wanted 500,000 euros and the town hall was offering only 50. At the end, I think that has been sorted, and the town hall, with your money, mine, and the money of people who are listening to us, is going to pay some 2, 3, 4, 500,000 euros. Nobody knows exactly the amount that this lady is going to take away. But
Right.
this court case will eventually finish. So there are no obstacles for having a guard at the door today, but
Mm,
there are some obstacles for the town hall to recover the control of the buildings.
right.
But they could have sorted this 2, 3, 4 years ago. Apparently, they don't want to do it. They prefer to keep it like it is now, and perhaps few weeks before the elections, they will appear saying, we have unblocked, because that is their favorite expression, we have unblocked this situation that they have been blocking, by the way, during these 6 years, and now we can take back the control and give this race course back to the Mijeños. It has always belonged to the Mijeños, either directly through the town hall or indirectly through this company that was owned by the town hall. So nobody has taken the Podromo from us. It has always been ours.
Right. But I have to ask the question, Mario, and I have a bit of a bee in my bonnet about this, whether councils are good bodies, organizations to manage something commercially like a race course, for example.
Well,
I,
that
I,
is a very interesting question. And let me tell you what they can do. Mijas Town Hall gave the running, the management of the race course to a company that was created 2 weeks before, called Carrera Entertainment, in 1998.
right.
So everything started wrongly, with the town hall giving the running and management of all that area to a
Mhm.
company called Carrera Entertainment, owned by a gentleman called Frank Money. Some of you may have heard about him. And at the end, whenever the Podromo was going through the drains, Mijas Town Hall had to pay 700,000 euros to the tax office for the VAT because we were all responsible for the things that the company was not doing properly.
All right.
So
Okay.
sometimes the town halls are useless running something, but in other occasions they spoil it all, giving the management to people who are not responsible of what they do.
All right. Right.
But yes, your idea fits with mine.
Yeah.
The logical thing to do is that the town hall put all that area to tender, either open, so someone may want to have a sport area or an attraction park,
Yeah.
or we restrict the activities and say we want 30% of the area to be used for horse wool, races, whatever, 50% of the area for football, and 22% for basketball, for example,
Right.
or for events. We
Mm.
can either make a tender
Mm.
very restricted or very open,
Yeah.
one way or another.
Okay. We've got another comment in here from Anne. Okay. Let me just show this, Mario. As you know, I started the boot sales there, so Anne was the first one to set up the boot sales there. The council insisted we employed one of the gate guards recommended by them, costing at least double than the quotes we'd had from other companies. Did all the publicity from zero, being kept, moved from inside to the car park, then back again. I had to get approximately 100 stalls on a regular basis, and the council refused to renew my contract. It lasted a while, but lack of experience ended up being closed. It could have been very good, little earner, but greed got the better of them.
Yes, I don't know the insights of that because we, as I said, we lost the power in June 2015, but I know in May 2017 or March or May, they were kicked out from the race course with the argument that they were going to do something important in the race course, the takeaway that I mentioned before, because nothing has happened in the race course since, except people that have been going there to vandalize that area, to make illegal parties, to set things on fire, and to steal everything they have been able to do.
Okay, we've got a question uh, from Sarah Haley. Welcome, Sarah. Nice to have you joining us. And she's saying, if it's correct what Mario is saying, what happens to the debt reported to be over 6 million euros that Recursos Turísticos actually owes? When this supposed 300,000 or 400,000 euros is finally paid to the liquidator, what happens regarding the debt of Recursos? Does this die when the company is finally closed?
No, but that debt did not exist. The debt did not exist. And I will tell you why. When we arrived to the town hall in 2011, I was the Counselor of Economy and Taxes, and that included the catastrophe,
Yeah,
the rates. And I realized that the Podromo was not paying any rates,
right.
was not recorded. That construction didn't exist in the catastrophe. And I said, sorry, this has to be done. And we did it. And the race course had to pay I think it was 350,000 euros a year for the race. It was
Right.
the biggest contributor because it was the biggest thing, together with the building of the Corte Inglés and the highway. They are the three big things, the three biggest taxpayers in Mijas Town Hall regarding the race.
Okay.
And the same town hall issue bills for that year and the three previous ones, because
Right.
the Podromo has been built and running publicly since 1999. So that debt was 1.2 million euros, increasing 300,000 every year. If the same town hall says that that area doesn't belong to Recursos Turísticos, but to the town hall itself, the debt disappears.
Right.
So the bills were cancelled. And this debt that they were saying of 7 million euros, all of a sudden disappeared, vanished, gone with the wind,
Because
didn't exist.
the town hall now owed this money to itself.
Yes, and they are thinking whether paying it or not. They may even give themselves a discount, 10 or 20% for prompt payment. There were some debts, mainly because they haven't paid electricity or water since 2015.
Mm.
And you don't know the problems that people having horses there have gone through, because horses need running water.
Of
And
course.
if there is no water, they are in trouble. And the water company was cutting the water off to the whole race course area every time the town hall didn't pay. And believe me, they have been weeks without water, having to bring big trucks to deliver that.
Right. Right. So in relation to Sarah's question, this 6 million euros just basically disappeared when Mijas Council took over the ownership again of the land, and
Of that land.
yeah.
And all the assets and liabilities have gone from this company to the town hall. So imagine that you were a creditor of the racehorse for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You can claim that debt to the town hall.
Right.
In
Okay.
fact, the work that the liquidator has done is to check the list of debts, water, electricity, I don't know, whatever it is.
Suppliers in the past, yeah.
That's right. And contacted them and tell them to confirm, ask them to confirm their credit.
Mm-hmm.
There were public announcements. If there was any creditor with a debt not accounted, to get in touch with them.
Mm.
And all those debts should be or may have already been paid by the town hall.
Right.
As you know, we only get the information we get in the monthly meetings.
Sure.
There are many things happening under the curtains.
Oh, there's a lot of things happening that we don't know about, Mario. That's for another day, though. But Mario, I mean, you've explained very well the whole sort of process of the Podromo. I wasn't, well, I was around during a lot of that time, but really wasn't registering what was happening. It sounds like it was bad decision after bad decision.
Not exactly. When we arrived, we discussed among the team what should we do, and there was a member of the team that said we should demolish it all and create an attraction park.
All right.
Well, that was an idea, but I remember I was saying that decision was taken many years ago. Someone decided to have a race course. Why don't we try to enforce it? Why don't we put our efforts trying to bring good horses and good people to run the businesses and to run their horses?
Mm.
And so we did, and the Podromo was working very well. Don't forget that people, in general, horse owners, they do not own only one horse. They own 3, 4, 5. They bring their caddy, the person taking care of the horses. Sometimes they are relatives. So with a horse, you get a lot of movement. A lot of people who stay in hotels or sometimes buy a property here. They go to restaurants, they rent cars. It is a very good activity. And Mijas, in the center of the Costa del Sol, so close to the Arab countries, so close to the Gibraltar and Malaga airport for the British. And as I said, with 850 parking slots outside for free, is a very interesting point. It is any activity we do there will be a success if we do it properly and if we don't leave the doors open at night.
Yeah. We're going to finish very shortly, but we would have another comment from Anne. And this is about the area around the Podromo. If people haven't been there, it is disastrous. A friend of ours was coming over. She normally comes from Fuengirola, but she happened to be on the back road, and she phoned us and said, "I'm sorry, I'm lost because a chunk of that road is blocked, I believe, due to some works from Akosol, and they're
Yes.
putting a pavement in as well on top of it." And Anne is saying, please tell me the paths that have been put in, costing don't know how much, has been done for the 3-day concert for the glampers. I don't know. If lucky, I see one pedestrian a month walking along there, and glamping without water. How's that going to work?
Let me tell you something that you may not know. Glamping is like a camping with a cushion inside.
Yeah.
So in a camping tent, they put an air cushion inside and they call it glamping because it has glamour. You don't sleep on the floor, you sleep on an air cushion.
Right. Okay.
It is ridiculous to have had the biggest asset of Mijas, 30 million euros, abandoned during 6 years, and now all of a sudden, for a 3 days concert for people who we don't know where they come from and which kind of activities are going to happen around that festival, the whole area of Mijas is working together to make that happen. I
Right.
really wish all the success, all the possible success for this concert.
Sure.
But I am waiting for the day after to see the list of inconveniences and cost that this has created. And
Right.
that will be the moment to make a proper balance
Yeah.
and say, sorry, this was the wrong decision from the beginning or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Mijas. I want to keep living in Mijas. And I have to desire all the success to any activity that the town hall is doing.
Right.
But considering the background and the rush they all are now trying to make this happen, I don't think we have all the possibilities for a success.
Yeah. Got a comment from someone I think you might know, Vicky Anderson. I think you might be in the next room actually from me. Thank you, Mario, for the good explanation. You shine a bright light on a very obscure subject. And we got one or two other comments coming in. Um, from Sarah, and I know that Sarah has an interest in the horse racing side. Sarah and I spoke a couple of weeks ago, and she knows quite a lot about the horse racing side. So you're saying that if you pr- if you if someone provides you with a solid company, financial sound through due diligence, that this debt of 6 million would not have to be paid over to the council by them. Can
No,
it be
no.
agreed?
Let me make this clear.
Yeah.
The debt that does not exist now by recursos turísticos, but imagine this company was owing €1. That euro is now owed by the town hall.
Okay.
So whoever buys, rent, or occupy the area of the race course will be with new conditions. There will be nothing in the past affecting whoever goes to the race course.
Right. Okay. So it's basically a clean slate then, Mario. For
Yes.
yeah. Anne says, interesting. Thank you, Bill and Mario. And there was another comment, if I can just find it, but I'm not sure if this is the right comment for this show, which was really about the racetrack. What will happen with the police if the PP get in Mijas?
Well, I guess that the question is what will happen with the local police
Yeah,
because
but
we have.
yeah, I'm not sure if that's the right. This is the right stream to talk about that, Mario. But if you want to comment on it,
Yes, well, the local police is the police that depends on the town hall. We have 150 people. This year, 8 of them are retiring. And Mijas Town Hall is employing 4. That means at the end of this year, we will have 4 policemen less than the previous years, while
right?
Mijas population has increased 10% every year.
Yeah,
You can guess the result.
sure.
And
Yeah,
the local police could have been protecting the race course, for example.
for
For
example,
example.
yeah, as they did Theo Mijas for a little while,
In Theo Mijas Town Hall was the owner of only 20%.
right?
That was in theory the land. Nobody could take the land away. How the other 80% was owned by Junta Andalucía.
Right.
Why didn't the Junta Andalucía pay for a policeman? No, the mayor of Mijas wanted to be very generous and put a police car 24 hours a day. With the race course that Mijas Town Hall own 100%, they have done nothing. They have not even closed the gate. They have left the gate open and still, I think they were considering putting a sign saying "Welcome, take away."
Yeah. I think this is maybe it's a comment from Jackie. Why are they not doing the same with Tamisa Hotel, writing off the debt? Well, I think that's a different situation, Mario, isn't it?
Nobody's writing off the debt. What I have said regarding Mijas Race Course is that if a plot is owned by a private company or individual, they have to pay rates. If it is owned by the town hall, they don't have to pay rates to themselves.
No.
But Tamisa Hotel owes some money to a bank. That bank has sold the debt to Aliseda, which is a company owned by before Banco Popular, before Banco Pastor, later Banco Popular, and now Banco Santander, and they are free to sell the hotel for the price they want to.
Right. Okay.
I think they were asking for, I don't know, 1 million euros or whatever.
Yeah.
It is a pity to have that hotel closed instead of rented and open. Yes, it is a pity. But the owner is a private individual who is able to do with their money what they want to.
Sure.
My complaint is to the town hall because they cannot do what they want to. They are playing with the biggest asset of Mijas citizenship, and they have had it closed and abandoned for 6.5 years. That is my complaint.
Mario, you filled us in with a lot of information this evening, and I hope that people understand a little bit more about what happened to the Podromo, the Mijas Racetrack. I think what happens next, really, we have to say, watch this space, don't we?
Yes, but it will be a matter of time. I can bet, I can promise that for sure before May 2023, with the next elections, the government team will say that they have unblocked the situation and the future of Mijas will be wonderful because they can now develop that area.
Yeah. Well, okay. Shall we take bets on that, Mario? As
Yes.
to when the announcement will be made, just as you say.
Sometime around March.
Around March, okay.
Yeah, because they will need a lot of pictures to be taken in the newspaper between March and May.
Right. Okay. Now you heard it, folks. There's going to be an announcement round about March next year saying they finally sorted it out and they're going to do something great with the race course. Mario is an accountant and he's going to organize the betting book for this one.
No problem.
Mario, thank you so much for joining us and for explaining all of this. It's something that's taken place over a lot of years, and well, we know where it's got to now. So thank you so much, Mario, and
You're welcome.
we will speak again very soon. Thank you.
Yes.
There's been a lot of people joining in this evening. Great discussion going on as well, and you're very welcome. I hope you found this useful. Well, we will be back very soon. Just keep an eye for the schedule on my pages, and we will join you again soon. Thanks for joining us too, Sarah.
Goodbye.
Good night, everyone.